In the story today, a teacher removed his shoe off his feet so that a high school student could graduate. When Daverius Peter arrived at his high school graduation ceremony on May 19, he was immediately blocked from entering the convention center where it was being held. Peters, who is 18 years old, was wearing the mandatory purple cap and gown, but a school representative standing at the front door told him his shoe selection was wrong. She said he violated the dress code and he couldn't attend the ceremony unless the shoes were changed. But at that time, Peter knew time was against him. According to the school's graduation dress code, male students were supposed to wear dark dress shoes, with emphasis that no athletic shoes were to be worn. Peter showed up that day in black leather sneakers with white soles, and they weren't the traditional dress shoes, but he thought he could wear them because they were black. And more so, he was abiding by the rest of the policy, which says that students must wear a white dress shirt and tie, as well as a dark dress pants. When he was stopped from entering the front door, he was so shocked. He felt so humiliated. And everything he just wanted to do at that time was to walk across the stage and get his diploma. Then, at that time, he started to panic. He began to imagine what his parents would be thinking if he wasn't permitted to attend his own graduation. With only a few minutes until the ceremony was set to start, he didn't have no choice to be able to stop at any stores. Peter paced nervously outside the convention center until he suddenly spotted a familiar face, which was John Butler. John Butler, 38 years old, is a paraeducator at the school and mentors many of the students, including Peter himself. He was attending the ceremony as a parent on that day as well, because his own daughter was graduating as well. Peters ran over to Butler and explained the shoe situation to him. Of course, that sounded so crazy to the teacher, and Butler told Peters to follow him, thinking that if the lady at the entrance would see him with Peter, she would be willing to consider Peter to go in. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case. He approached the woman who had brought Peters from entering, hoping that things would be resolved. But she insisted on not letting the young man in for graduation. Without further hesitation, Butler bent down and did what he felt he had to do. He gave the student his shoe. Now, Butler wears a shoe size 11 and Peters wears a shoe size 9. So obviously, there was a lot of differences in the shoe. Ignoring the size discrepancy, Peters excitedly slid into Butler's 10 loafers and bolted into the hall for his ceremony, just as the doors were about closing. Butler took his seat wearing only socks, proudly disregarding the glares from people confused by his lack of footwear. When Peter's name was called, he shuffled across the stage in Butler's oversized shoes. The shoes were so big, he couldn't even walk in it, he was only sliding. The audience couldn't help but notice the kind of shoe he has on, and even his family was perplexed. Later on, his mother called him and said, "Whose shoes were you wearing?" Because we are all confused. They were also puzzled by Butler's shoeless feet, though they couldn't connect the dots at that time. But they never knew that Butler sacrificed his own shoe so that their son could walk across the stage and obtain his diploma. Immediately after the ceremony, Peters found Butler to return his loafers and thank him. Peter was very grateful for the very kind gesture Mr. Butler had offered to him, but he said he wasn't surprised because Mr. Butler is that kind of a person that wants the best for everyone. At school, if you're having a bad day, he will be the one to take you out of class, walk you around the school, and talk to you, recalled Peters. Although everything worked out in the end and Peters was able to get his diploma, Butler said the story underscored the school's critical need to adjust the dress code. Something that small shouldn't rob a kid from experiencing this major moment, said Butler, who is planning to meet with the school administrator to review the guideline for future graduation ceremony. It's something that needs to be discussed. When Peter's parents learned what happened, they were very, very upset. Adding to the fact that their son has chronic asthma and spent the majority of the academic year in remote school. He worked so hard for someone to just rip that moment away from him, and they were so mad about the school. The mother recalled, she said, her son genuinely believed that his footwear fit the dress code, and more so, it was black. This is not just about him, but it's about the people that are coming after him. A student should not be barred from graduation for something as minor as this. She said, what if it wasn't for Mr. Butler? What kind of a day it would have been for the son if he wasn't able to graduate because of the shoe he has on? She said, our young black men need good role models and mentors like Mr. Butler. She was so extremely grateful at the act Mr. Butler pulled off. And as for Mr. Butler, he only thought he was doing his part because he couldn't stand watching his student not being able to graduate because of shoes. Alright guys, thank you for listening to the story. Immediately I read the story earlier this morning, I felt like the pain the boy would have been in if he wasn't able to graduate because of shoe. And I think the dress code needs to be addressed, in my own opinion. I mean, that's too minor or minute for a child not to be able to graduate. And more so, the shoe was black. I mean, it could be overlooked. I mean, I don't know, but I really thank God that Peter was able to graduate anyways. Guys, what do you think about this story? Do you think the school should keep on upholding their school policy without minding what effect it's going to have on the kid? Or do you think they should, kind of consider to readjust it? And I was even thinking, what if the kid was like a poor kid who could not afford to buy shoe at the moment of graduation? What could have happened to the fate of that child? Guys, leave some comments for me in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts about this story. So guys, thank you very much. Remember to subscribe to my channel. Leave me a comment, like this video, and also share this video. This video simply tells us about acts of kindness. Let us always extend acts of kindness to other people, especially people that we know cannot even pay us back in return. Alright, thank you very much. I will see you all in my next video.